It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, the kind where life slows down just enough to feel real. I'd just settled into my lounge chair out back, a tall glass of lemonade sweating in my hand, ribs marinated for 2 days resting beside the grill, and the first whisper of smoke curling into the blue sky. My backyard, my space, years of sweat, equity, planning, and investing for peace. Until she showed up. I didn't hear the gate, just the voice, sharp, entitled, louder than necessary. "Excuse me, you need to move. My family's here to use the grill." I looked up, blinking into the sunlight, and saw her, mid-60s, floral blouse stiff with starch, platinum hair helmeted like it hadn't budged since 1982. Behind her stood a man, probably her husband, slumped like a deflated lawn chair, and a boy, maybe 12, staring at the grass like it could swallow him whole. At first, I thought it was a prank, some offbeat joke. I sipped my lemonade slowly, hoping the tartness would reboot my brain. "I'm sorry, what?" I said, not moving an inch. She planted her feet, like she was gearing for battle. "I said," she repeated, pointing at my grill like I didn't know my own property, "you need to clear out. We've got food to cook and people coming." That switch inside me, normally set to peaceful, flipped. "Ma'am," I said, standing now, voice still calm, "this is my backyard. That's my grill. Those," I gestured to the meat, "are my ribs." She narrowed her eyes like I'd insulted her ancestry. "Don't get smart with me, young man. This is a shared neighborhood resource. We pay our dues. This grill is for everyone." What she didn't know, was it about to bite her, was that there weren't any dues in our neighborhood. No HOA, no bylaws. You see, I'd bought up half this block over the past to turn down properties, neglected lots. I renovated them, rented them, managed them. I wasn't just a homeowner. I was the developer, the landlord, the guy who cut the checks and knew every zoning line by heart. But she wasn't ready for facts. She leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper that somehow still sounded like a shout. "I don't know how things work for people like you, but in this neighborhood, we share." There it was, people like you. The casual venom wrapped in a fake smile. I didn't flinch. I'd heard it before, seen it delivered in a dozen different packages, always with the same sour sting. She had no idea she was trying to bully the man who literally owned the ground she stood on. But I wasn't angry, not yet. When people show you who they are that boldly, you don't yell. You take notes. And I started taking notes. She stormed off, declaring she was going to find the manager, not realizing she'd just spoken to him. I watched her retreat, husband in tow, kid dragging his feet, and calmly flipped my ribs. 20 minutes later, she was back, alone this time, gripping a packet of inkjet-printed papers like they were holy scripture. "You," she said, stopping a few feet away, "are in violation of the neighborhood covenants. Article 4, Section B, grilling areas are communal." I nearly laughed. "Ma'am," I said, "this is my private property. This is not a communal anything." She doubled down. "This development was planned with shared amenities. I've lived in communities like this before. I know how these things work." That's when I realized she wasn't just entitled, she was delusional. She thought she was still queen of some HOA kingdom, reigning over mulch color and mailbox height. I kept my cool. "With all due respect," I said, "you're mistaken. I own this property and most of the homes on this street. There's no HOA here, just common sense and city ordinances." She squinted at me, like the idea of a young black man owning anything of value short-circuited her brain. "You expect me to believe that?" So I told her not the whole story, not yet, but enough. Enough for her to understand she'd picked a fight with the wrong neighbor. When she sniffed and walked off, muttering about uppity people, I made a decision. I wasn't going to just end this. I was going to teach her. It started small. I upgraded my lawn from pristine to spectacular stone borders, new blooms, and a set of judgmental garden gnomes, one pointing directly at her house. Then came the kindness offensive, exaggerated politeness, over-the-top compliments in the grocery store, calling her Eleanor, with a grin that said, "I know." Every time she tried to critique me in front of others, I gently, politely fact-checked her. "Actually, Eleanor, those benches are ADA compliant. I've got the paperwork if you'd like to see." Watching her chew vinegar in public while pretending she wasn't losing her grip? Chef's kiss. But I wasn't done. I had a vacant lot on the edge of the cul-de-sac, an eyesore turned opportunity. I made it a community garden, sent out flyers, built raised beds, and installed a tool shed. Neighbors came out in droves, kids, retirees, everyone pitching in. Everyone except Eleanor. She showed up, of course, sitting in a folding chair at the garden's edge like a disapproving statue. Eventually, she'd approach, declaring she should have input. I smiled. Eleanor, the committee's full, but there's one spot left by the compost bins. Bit of shade, but with your experience, I'm sure you'll manage. She looked like I'd suggested she plant roses in a landfill. Certainly not, she snapped. This whole thing is doomed without oversight. But it wasn't. It flourished, and her control slipped further. The grand finale, Willow Creek Appreciation Day. I organized it all: music, catered food, games for the kids. Everyone was invited, even Eleanor. Just before lunch, I stepped onto the stage. It's been a joy building this neighborhood, I said. And today, I want to show you something. I unveiled a giant map, every property marked, nearly 90% shaded in terracotta, labeled owned and maintained by Carter Property Management LLC, Isaiah Carter, proprietor. Eleanor turned white. I wasn't done. We've had some confusion, I said, about property lines, about grills, about who gets to decide what in this community. So, in honor of one resident's passionate involvement, I've set up a special station. Everyone turned to where I pointed, a rusted hibachi near the trash bins with a sign, Eleanor Whitmore's official grilling station and complaint department appointments required. There was a beat of silence, then laughter, loud, long, freeing. Eleanor stood, sputtering. You can't do this. But I could, and I had. I don't just live here, I said. I built this. And I will not be pushed out of my own backyard. Her husband, Harold, finally stepped in. Let's go, he muttered, guiding her away. She didn't even do her trademark spin. The rest of the day was perfect. People came up, thanking me, smiling. Some just nodded, grateful the shadow had lifted. A few months later, Eleanor moved out. No goodbye, no farewell note, just a fading echo of rules that never applied. The neighborhood healed. Sometimes, people think they can bully their way into power, wrap their prejudice in fake authority, and control what doesn't belong to them. But all it takes is one person standing their ground calmly, consistently, and with just the right amount of garden nomesto remind everyone what real community looks like.